out and eyes wide open. Wonderful, all of you look gorgeous. Once again, scrunch your face up nicely. And then tongue out and eyes wide open. Beautiful. One last time. Yeah, you can choke on yourself. One last time. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. And tongue out and eyes wide open. Beautiful. Now you can never have, nobody can blame you for having a screen face.
Do you have a name for that practice?
Yes, Simha Kriya.
Simha Kriya.
Yeah, Simha is lion.
Oh.
So like a lion, you're roaring. So ideally you're roaring really loudly and putting your tongue out. So you're not afraid to be heard. It's really good for the throat chakra as well. So many of us, sometimes we are, of course, as Canadians, we're taught to be polite, and I love it. I love Canadians because we're all so polite. You know, I've also like kind of adapted. It's like, oh, I can't say I do with my Indian way. That's really fun. So this Simha Kriya actually gets your voice moving, your throat chakra moving, where if something needs to be said, you're still able to say it, but of course say it gently, say it kindly. So as we saw, asana has a much deeper, not just meaning, but a deeper aspect or deeper importance in our yogic practice. And Patanjali also beautifully said that if we master asana, we can go beyond this identification of the dualities, which means masculine, feminine, which means heaven and earth, oh, those are different. He says by mastering asana, we can see these polarities coming together in us. Wow, that's a beautiful, beautiful blessing. Where we're not limited by extremes, or we're not limited by so-called opposites. Soon we see this merging, or this beautiful dance of the opposites. And then we have pranayama. So pranayama usually is translated as breathing exercise, but here we're looking at a conscious expansion of life force. And there are a lot of practices to go in depth into the pranayama practices. I won't talk too much about it because I've given you handouts about prana and pranayama, because I thought, oh, that's a beautiful subject to work with, and how pranayama, or loosely translated, of course, you can say breathing, how that breath work to generate prana or electricity is so important in your yogic practice. Here I find when I first came, it was, like I said, it was all about asana. There was no importance given to pranayama, but this is the fuel. This is the, what do you call it? The propeller to the engine. It's not just asana where it's purely mechanical, where you're not pushing, it's not the mind saying, oh, I want to do it, which is the paradigm of exercise. The paradigm of exercise is push, push, do more. It's very achievement oriented. Whereas the yogic paradigm is awareness oriented. Yes, I want to witness myself. I want to move in beautiful ways. I want to breathe deeper. And as a result, effortlessly the achievement happens. So it's almost opposite, with the result of achievement, but not struggling for achievement. So for me, that shift is what yoga means to me. Not just, okay, you know, I'm doing the same thing, I'm applying it or approaching it the same way as exercise. So these are the first 4 angas. I'll quickly go over the next 4, and then we'll go into Tantra and a little bit about that and some other concepts. So you have yama, niyama, asana, pranayama. And then we have pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So pratyahara becomes natural. What is pratyahara? It's a disassociation of the mind from the senses, which means we're not being constantly pulled by distractions that take us further away from ourselves. So of course we'll say, oh, that's a no-brainer. You know, of course, the more we're distracted, the less we'll be able to focus on even a simple task, not even the great task of finding this inner union, but even simple tasks we need to have focus. However, all of us know how many distractions are there in today's modern environment. So it's just being aware of that. Then when pratyahara is applied, then dharana happens naturally. Dharana means focus or concentration. When dharana or focus happens, gently, effortlessly, then immersion or dhyana or meditation happens. And when that immersion is stable, then samadhi or this complete, constant connection happens. So you're constantly in that realm of connection. So it's a beautiful step-by-step methodology of reaching this union, this huge, this coming together. And also the stilling. I was saying how Patanjali beautifully said that we have to still these whirlpools of the subconscious mind. So there are many tools given again in the yogic practice. One of them being the chanting of the pranava om, the a, u, m sounds, which we'll also go into. You can have a sip of water, and we're going to chant the a, u, m sounds. You can sit comfortably. Keeping your eyes closed. Okay, that's it. And just be present to how your body is feeling. And bring your awareness to your root or your base and how it's touching the chair. And connect to this root area, root and abdomen. Now sounds or mantra are beautiful vibrational medicine, which means through sound you can shift matter, just as an opera singer can break glass with her high-pitched tone. We can shift matter, we can shift unhealthy physical, emotional, mental patterns through simple chanting. And one of the simple chants is the pranava om, which works on every layer and every aspect of our system. So the A is a very base sound, helping us ground, helping us get rooted, and if you feel that there is some fear of survival, some instability, or it could be trauma from various stages of your life which is destabilizing you, then there are very many tools in the yogic system that work directly on the trauma without having to go into the whys and whens and whats of it. Simply saying, okay, I witnessed this and I want to shift this. So we'll take a deep breath and whoosh out first. Breathe in and whoosh out. Breathe in and whoosh out. One last time. Breathe in and whoosh out. Now we'll chant the sound A, again being present to the base. Breathe in. We'll do this 2 more times. Breathe in. Focus on your root, your lower chest breathing, your abdominal region. One last time. Just be present to this root, your sense of feeling stable, feeling safe, feeling secure, be it financially or emotionally, materially. And also being able to stand your ground, which means cultivating assertiveness. So if you have a nice solid footing, then no one can shake you or rattle you too much. So that's what we need to cultivate in the practice of yoga, this sthiti, samasthiti. This equipoise or equal balance. Now bring your awareness, or some of you want to place your palms on your heart, you can do that as well. And just connect to this beautiful heart center. And how this area feels this evening for you. While growing up, my family was not very religious, but my grandfather had a lot of rituals explaining to me the rationale behind it, or how it shifted things. Of course, there was always great food, so my motivation was the prasadam, or wonderful food my granny made. But as kids, I knew that we needed to do certain things to keep an open heart, if we didn't have one already. So it could be cultivated. This feeling of knowing I am enough. This feeling of not just knowing I can give and receive love, but that I am love itself. And as we invoke the energy of Lakshmi, her photograph is behind me, she embodies this heart center, this pink lotus. She's sitting on a beautiful pink lotus. So it's very metaphorical, symbolic for the opening of the heart. And from her palms are flowing gold coins. You can't get more graphic than that, which means there's so much, there's abundance. There's enough of love, enough of nurturance. And she has 2 white elephants behind her, which means she has enough money to even take care of white elephants. So nothing is too much with all that love and abundance. Now the sound oo is very beautifully used to rebalance this area. So we'll take a nice deep breath and whoosh out, just one cleansing breath. Breathe in and whoosh out. Now breathe in and we'll chant. Once again. Nice deep, deep, deep breath. One last time. Nice deep breath. Push that mid-chest out as much as you can, opening up. rub your palms. It's lovely to see. And keep them on your eyes. We're not going to open the eyes. Simply connect to the eyes. So we see from not just our eyes, but from the heart. See through the eyes of love. It's like with photographers, when you have a nice soft light, everybody looks great in the soft light. It's true. We have Douglas here who's laughing because he's taken some photographs of me. So when we see through the eyes of the heart, things don't seem as harsh anymore. It's like, okay, you're able to see it through the lens of love. Now place your palms back to your upper chest, not back to the heart, but a little higher, upper chest, connect to this area. And as we breathe into this area and chant the sound we clear the head. It's a head clearing sound, cultivates discernment and clarity of thinking. So we'll do this together. Take a nice deep breath. Once again, breathe in. This area we rarely use, so see if you can push it open. Upper chest. One last time. And just be present to this buzzing of the bee. So if there are too many thoughts or thought bees buzzing, you counteract fire with fire. So you just give it another buzz to clear all of that. Now rub your palms. Place them on your eyes. And we also see through the eyes of discernment, not just through the heart. Of course, we need some rose-tinted glasses, but we don't want it to get too rose-tinted. Should we need a healthy boundary. So also see through the eyes of discernment that this upper chest cultivates. Now bring your awareness to the top of your head, about 6 inches. And keep this connection as you're touching your eyes, where you have this broader perspective of life, not limited to where we were born or our conditioning. And gently relax your hand. So I'll read another little musing. I used to travel a lot in my younger days, about 15, 20 years ago. I was traveling quite a bit.